about to give them what they want. I don't think they're ready for this, though. Beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode, beast mode.
What's good, YouTube? You know who it is. Chris Jones, representing Pump Chasers. So guys, you see the title of the video? Jo Lindner, dead at 30 years old. I wanted to talk about that a little bit today, but before I do, guys, let's get one thing understood. By now, I'm pretty sure we got some people that are still shocked, but by now, these type of things should not surprise us, especially in the world of bodybuilding. Like it or not, bodybuilding is a discipline. Damn near like a religion, but it's a discipline. Damn near like a religion, but it's a discipline that is backed, fully backed by universal laws and principles. Don't let that shit go over your head. All spiritual codes apply. And since we have influencers in the world of bodybuilding, certain influencers will be used to teach you guys a lesson, whether they like it or not. This game is cold, point blank period. Look at some of these fucking deaths. I'm not gonna say names, but let me tell you this. Some of these deaths are literally warnings and messages to the masses. Now, just because you can't break down the macros and micros to decode these messages doesn't mean you did not get the message. The message is right there in your fucking face. Just because you can't read the message don't mean you didn't get the message, which is why back in ancient times, they had messengers, they had prophets. The game is fucking cold, guys. The game has always been cold. So at the end of the day, I'm not gonna get too deep on this hippie shit. Take the message or leave it. I really don't give a fuck at the end of the day. But I would not be a friend to you if I didn't at least put that out there. There it is. With that said, we are in 2021. 2020 was the great reveal, the great awakening. Now we are on year number 1. And there are polls that are gonna be set, meaning people's mistakes are gonna be used to teach you a lesson. This is nothing new. This has been going around since the beginning of time. I write quotes on my walls to keep me motivated, you feel me, because words have power. Check this out. Rome wasn't built in a day. Rome didn't fall in a day either. Learn from the mistakes of the past, but most of all, learn from the mistakes of your past. Now, let's get to this Jo Lindner situation, all right? First and foremost, condolences to anybody that has been affected by his death, his family, people that loved him, his fans. Losing somebody you care about is never easy. So my condolences go out to you. Based off what I'm seeing, I scrolled down his page a little bit, you know, he seemed like a lot of fun, a lot of high energy. I know a lot of people are gonna miss him. So I watched quite a few videos of people talking about his death. And let's get one thing understood. You really can't pinpoint how this man died, because for one, we need an autopsy. Fuck the bullshit. Until you get some shit on paper from some professionals, you are just speculating at this point. Where's the autopsy at? Some say it was performance enhancement drug related. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Y'all know me. I've been doing these type of videos for years. I'm not gonna use this man's death to preach the natural path, right? But it is what it is, guys. I truly believe the performance enhancement drug abuse played a part in his death. Right hand up. That's my honest opinion. Some people think it was performance enhancement drug abuse. So now I know for whatever reason, a lot of influencers are afraid to talk about this. But not on this page. On this page, we keep it fucking raw. Like I've told you guys many times, Chris Jones ain't for everybody. I'm here for the people that love me. And one thing we do is keep it raw here. We're gonna talk about that damn shot. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. We don't ignore elephants in the fucking room. Honestly, low key, with all due respect, that's why so many of these bodybuilders dying left and right. Too many elephants in the fucking room being ignored. Too many fucking elephants in the room being ignored. That's why y'all taking losses left and right. Stop doing that shit. We don't ignore elephants in the room over here, baby. You feel me? You can ignore an elephant in the room all you want, but I can't eat my dinner with a big ass fucking elephant in my living room. Smelling like shit, making fucking noise, spitting peanuts all in my living room, and I'm just ignoring the motherfucker like he not here? Absolutely not. Not on this page. He clearly said when he was on Bradley Martin's podcast that he got that shot. Y'all know exactly what shot. The vax. Fuck it. The vax. Fuck it. If the shit gets flagged, fuck it. Cause if my energy was getting fucked up when I said the shot. I felt weird. My soul knows the words I want to use. I want to say the vax, so I'm gonna say the vax. Yeah, apparently he got the fucking vax, right? The jab, whatever y'all want to call it. Long story short, he was getting his blood looked at, and apparently he had some particles that he'd never had before in his blood. Now, first and foremost, let's assume he's telling the truth. Apparently, he has some particles in his blood that he never had before. Now, this is assuming he's telling the truth. Because a pair of lips will say anything, right? This is assuming he's telling us the truth. Then we got to keep that in consideration, right? We can't just ignore that. We can't say it was all steroid related when he clearly told us this about 3 weeks before he died. That he got the vaccine, the shot, right? And he had these particles in his blood. Not my words, his words. So these are two things to consider. There's literally many documentaries going on about this shot. I'm not going to talk too much about the shit. You can do your own research. There are a lot of complaints from people that have gotten this shot saying they're getting certain symptoms. You can do your own research. That's not for me to put that in your head. I'm not trying to push fear or worry onto anybody. I'm just speaking facts. That's all I'm doing. So we gotta keep these things into consideration. And like I said, guys, like it or not, we receive messages from the universe. Just because we don't see them, just because we can't break the message down, don't mean we did not receive it. I'm not ignoring any numbers. So that's two things to consider. One, the heavy performance enhancement abuse, point blank period. Two, he got that shot and he clearly said he had particles in his blood, okay? And three, someone in his family died of an aneurysm. So that's potential genetic, right? But at the end of the day, just because someone has died in your family of a certain disease like cancer, aneurysm, heart disease, doesn't mean you're gonna get it. Hey, just because I got somebody in my family 6 foot tall, don't mean I'm gonna be 6 foot tall. Just because your brother hairline fucked up, don't mean your hairline gonna be fucked up. So, but that's a third thing to consider. We're not gonna ignore those numbers here. We're not ignoring no numbers. We're gonna track all those macros, all those micros. And this is the point I'm trying to make is, whether it was shot related, roid related, whatever related, the fact of the matter is this. Jo Lindner, and I say this with all due respect, and if there's anybody that got a problem with what I say, understand I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but if you have a problem with anything I say, we can talk about this shit live on camera with no edits. Anybody, and I mean anybody, got a problem with anything I say in this video, hit me up. I'm ready today, on God. We can talk about it today. Live on camera with no edits. However that chat goes, it's gonna stay up for the world to see. And I'm gonna give you one fair warning only. Be careful about the things that you choose to defend with your tongue. Be very mindful of the shit that you choose to co-sign with your tongue, especially in front of witnesses. If you want to talk about this shit on live, please hit me up today. But the point I'm trying to make is this. He clearly shown with his actions that he didn't respect his body to the fullest. Point blank fucking period. And I'm sure that was a huge component to his death. Just like we're baking a cake and you're adding shit into the bowl for your recipe before you put that shit in the oven, a recipe for disaster works exactly the same way because, again, universal law ensures everything works the same way. Just like that cake, it wasn't just the chocolate, it was those eggs. But it wasn't just the eggs either. It was that little bit of vanilla you threw in. See, all these ingredients is what makes that cake. And a recipe for baking a cake and a recipe for disaster works exactly the same way. It could have been all steroids, right? It could have been all Vax. It could have been a little bit of both that caused his death. It could have been steroids, Vax, and a little bit of sprinkle of genetics. It could have been steroids, Vax, and genetics, and a little bit of sprinkle of fucking universal karma. Oh yeah, I went there. You never know. I don't know this man. I don't know what he's done behind closed doors. The power of influence is huge. If you don't think these spiritual laws apply to everything, I'm sorry. You need to wake the fuck up. A recipe for baking a cake and a recipe for disaster works exactly the same way. So it's really hard to pinpoint what really took him out. But I will say this. He did not respect his body to the fullest. And those are the facts. And I'm going to explain that, and I'm going to send you children on your way. In the interview with Bradley Martin, right? He said he got the vax 4 times. Not just once. Not just twice. They say 3 times is the charm. Absolutely not. The man got 4. 4 times. Why more than once? I can understand, I guess the booster. Fuck it. You want to get a booster? Fine. But 4? And in the video with Bradley Martin, he said out his mouth, not mine, his mouth, that he was peer pressured by his buddies. No self-accountability, guys. When you are an influencer, you better watch that fucking tongue. He didn't take self-accountability for a choice he made. You got your own mind, you got your own body, and you have your own soul. You're responsible for all 3. How the fuck you gonna get on camera scapegoating? You chose to take 4 shots? Own up to that shit. Yeah, man, I went and took 4 shots. Don't even bring your friends into that shit. And if you do bring your friends into that shit, still take full accountability, because nobody held you down and made you do anything. You gotta have full respect for your body. I'm gonna ask myself, I'm gonna say, hey, hold on. Why would I need a booster again? Why do I need a booster? Ask questions to yourself and ask questions to others. You don't just blindly keep putting shit in your body and then now all of a sudden you're worried because you got these particles. In my opinion, humble opinion, you shouldn't have got 4 shots in the first place. And take full accountability for your own damn actions. If you got peer pressured into getting 4 shots that are relatively new, by the way, these shots are new, they haven't really been tested long. If you're gonna risk it and get 1 or 2, why the fuck would you get 4? So that's 1. That's a fact. No respect for your own body. Secondly, he's clearly admitted that in the past, he went a lot harder on the drugs. So you don't know what damage he's done to his body. There are a lot of bodybuilders, whether they realize that shit or not, they have shaved off some years of their life. At least on a physical level. The things they've done to their arteries, the things they've done to their heart, they have by the numbers shaved some time off their life. Unless, again, the universe sends more electricity to their vessel. Because let me tell you, when you got that cosmic energy flowing through your fucking body, you can do the impossible. You could do the impossible. You could do the impossible, but that's a whole other story for a whole other video, you know? So there's no telling what long-term damage he's done to his body by doing science experiments with his fucking body. That vaccine shit wasn't the only time he just blindly put shit in his fucking body. He's had a history of just putting shit in his body. Right? I mean, look, these are the facts. He said it, not me. Don't shoot the messenger here. I'm just speaking facts. See, facts are not attacks. And if you're offended by facts, then that's a fucking personal problem that you gotta deal with. Because let me tell you one thing, children. The truth doesn't give a fuck about your motherfucking feelings. I promise you that. Facts are facts. All I'm doing is just, that's what he said. He admitted that out of his own mouth. He went hard on the steroids in the past. So that's two things. That is two facts that proves he did not respect his body to the fullest. Let me give you Exhibit 3. Exhibit 3. Greg Doucette said it out his own mouth. The man would have a hard time with his appetite. Let me tell you why the man had a hard time with his appetite, Greg. He's too damn lean. Look at him. The human body. Let me show you something real quick. You see this body right here? The Homo sapiens sapien? This design has been the same for thousands. This has been the same for thousands of years. And it was not designed to be stupid lean year round. Period. We literally have, zoom this shit out. Give me some, zoom this shit out. Zoom this shit out. What the fuck? There we go. We literally have red bone marrow and yellow bone marrow for a reason. You're designed to have some fat on your body. And I ain't talking about being fat, but you're designed to have a decent amount of body fat on your body for hormone regulation purpose. At the very bare minimum for your hormones. The reason why he's having a hard time with hunger is because his hormones want him to do the right thing. Instead of doing the right thing, he decides to drink 4 liters of coffee. That's 3 facts that he did not respect nor listen to his body to the fullest. Now, 4 liters might not sound like much because the number 4 is at a high number. But when you break that shit down, 1 liter is 4 cups. So 4 times 4, that's 16 cups a day. Granted, he did decaf. He did decaf coffee. But one thing about decaf coffee is it still has the coffee bean. So you're gonna still get something called, what is that called? It's called chlorogenic acid. Now one thing about chlorogenic acid does is gonna help regulate your blood sugar levels. Therefore, helping you control your hunger a little better. Remember, life is in the blood. If life is in the blood, that means everything's in the blood. That means signaling is in the blood. That means DNA is in the blood. That means you want to drug test somebody, test their blood. Everything is in the blood. Now, when your chlorogenic levels get too high, you increase the risk of making your homocysteine levels too high. When your chlorogenic levels get too high, notice it's all about balance. Chlorogenic levels get too high, you risk making your homocysteine levels too high. Now let me look up homocysteine, the risk. High levels of homocysteine can damage the inside of your arteries, increase risk of forming blood clots. Here we go. This may increase your risk of heart attack, stroke, and other heart diseases and blood vessel disorders. So there you go. Sounds like a potential aneurysm risk waiting to happen if you allow these levels to get too high. So that's 3. Again, this is assuming Greg Doucette is telling the truth. We're going to take your word for it, Mr. Doucette. You said 4 liters of decaffeinated coffee a day. We'll take your word for it, brother. That's 16 cups a day. This could potentially increase his risk of homocysteine levels. And there you go. More disrespect to the body. Did this because he was hungry all the time. You're hungry all the time because you're stupid lean all the time. Now let me give you another fact that showed he didn't respect his body to the fullest. Now, this right here is his last post, okay? And looking right here, there's pictures, okay? See these pictures? See these pictures? All right, you see it? Now I'm gonna read this shit to you and put the pictures on the screen. We're gonna break down this is his last post, by the way. His last post. I'm gonna read this shit to you and we're gonna break this shit down by the crumb. You feel me? Joe Statics. When I lost my gains because I went off everything for 1 year. So apparently he went off everything for a year and he lost some gains. He said my gains, so he lost an amount of gains. He didn't say all gains. I'm pretty sure he didn't even look that bad. But he said I lost my gains. I'll take his word for it, okay? He went off everything and he lost some gains, okay? But then could not recover my own test levels. So I went back on TRT. So apparently, I don't know what happened. I don't follow the man closely, but for whatever reason, he went off everything. But his test levels were destroyed. His balls were fried. I told you guys, stay natty, guys. He fried his testicles. And he had to get back on TRT. Let me tell you something, guys. Sometimes you have to get on TRT, especially if you've disrespected your body, because having low test can cause problems for you. It can fuck with your mental health, all kinds of shit. So he had to do what he had to do, apparently, to get himself back to balance. This is the risk you take when you abuse PEDs. Okay? He says, trust me. Okay, Joe, I'll try to trust you. He says, trust me. I tried to stop, but be aware, it might have long-term effects for your life. Like I told you guys, you know, your low test levels can really drop your quality of life. So if you're gonna play around these PEDs, right, understand this might be a lifelong decision for you. You might not be able to get off, okay? TRT is a big commitment. I agree. Keep that in mind. The last pic show a lot of size difference. Swole and not swole. This is his definition, not mine. He says swole and not swole. This is a side comparison. On the right, he considers himself not swole. And on the left, he considers himself swole. Okay? You can see the chest, etc., all slimmed down. Even my waist is smaller back then. To be aware, the comparison on the left is no pump. And the right natty pic, motherfucker, that ain't natty. Excuse my French, that shit just brought the devil out of me. Anybody claiming natty on TRT, fuck you, and I mean that shit. That ain't fucking natty. Some of these people been on steroids so long, they think TRT is natty. The game, y'all got the game fucked up. Any of you motherfuckers claiming TRT is natty, fuck you. Y'all got the game fucked up. Your balls ain't vibrating naturally to keep you in balance, you ain't natty. But anyway, for the sake of the video, we'll just call this pick natty. Fine. For the sake of the video, I don't co-sign that shit. Rest in peace to Jo Lindner, man. Natty pick, full pump. So apparently, on the right, he's pumped up, right? And on the left, he's not pumped up at all. But as you see, the veins are pushing through the skin on the non-pump picture. The veins are pushing through the lower abs and arms on the non-pump picture, right? He's supposedly pumped on the fucking right, and the veins aren't pushing through the skin like the one on the left. What does this tell you, children? What does this tell you? This tells you that it's obvious whatever he was taking on the left increases your blood pressure. This is him resting, chilling, not pumped. His words, Jo Lindner said, trust me. He says, trust me. I'm trusting you, Joe, taking your word. He said, trust me. This left pick is him pumped up, not pumped. Your blood pressures increase when you abuse these PEDs. If you can look this good on the right naturally, why in the fuck would you risk your health to get a pump chilling? There is absolutely no need, and I mean no need, to push the PEDs. If you can look this good on the right, there's absolutely no need, and I mean no need, to push it. But when you have body dysmorphia issues and low respect for your body, you know, which is what he's clearly shown with his actions, with all due respect, by the way, he's clearly shown with his actions he lacks respect for his body. And he has some body dysmorphia issues. He went out his way to tell you, I'm pumped on the right, but I'm not pumped on the left. He notices every little detail. Like the saying goes, we are our harshest critics. Can't nobody criticize me harder than I criticize myself. Y'all see me critique physiques for years. Trust me, I'm very hard on myself. And I'm sure he's hard on himself. Well, was hard on himself. Natty pick is full pump. Okay? Otherwise, it's even more. Also, my stomach, now due to my hernia surgery, is a new hernia there. See, he's from Germany, so I'm assuming English is not his first language, because that sentence was just a little off for me. It's really hard to break down what he's saying, but I'm guessing he had a hernia, and I guess he got a new hernia again. Based off what I'm reading, I could be wrong, but it's hard to make out what he's saying, you know. The way you put your sentences together, guys, it does matter, okay? So, also my stomach, now due to my hernia surgery, now it's a new hernia there, okay? And it even makes my stomach bigger. So I'm guessing he's saying his waist is thicker on the left. So I'm guessing his stomach is thicker on the left, and he wanted to explain to you guys why there's an extra 0.5 of an inch added to his waist. I wouldn't even have noticed if he didn't say anything. Which again shows you guys he notices every detail. Not only did he tell you his stomach's a little bigger, he gave you some explanations why, just in case you happen to give a fuck. Okay? Overall, this post should show you, even as a natural, you ain't natural! You could look amazing. And why just need to get in shape. Great message. You ain't natty, but great message, by the way. Notice this was his last post. He's an influencer by every stretch of the definition and got millions of followers. So that's 4 things. And honestly, guys, I can give you more. I think this video is long enough. I don't know how many minutes it is, but I know it's stupid long. Okay? I could give you more, but I gave you 4 facts. First fact, PED abuse. He admitted to that. He admitted to abusing PEDs in the past. Clearly got off for a little while and got back to the same bullshit. 2, 4 vaccine shots. 3, you can go watch Greg Doucette's video. He said it, not me. The man had trouble controlling his hunger and would do 4 liters of decaffeinated coffee a day. I'm assuming he did decaf because too much caffeine can fuck with your heart. But shit, too much chlorogenic acid ain't too good for you either. And 4, the man looked good natty. There was no need to push these PEDs. He took unnecessary risk. That is 4 facts. So it's fair to say, and we still haven't got that autopsy yet, but it's fair to say, whatever took him out, it was related and rooted down to the lack of respect he had for his body. Point blank, period. He clearly shown lack of respect for his own body, and he took unnecessary risk for an extended period of time. And that's how the game goes, unfortunately. Notice he was a high-level influencer. Believe it or not, out of those 8 million plus followers that follow him, I'm pretty sure at least 20 people, not 20,000, I'm sure at least 20 people out of the 8+ million are willing to do whatever it takes to reach his level. So like it or not, he's an influence on others. And as you see, guys, this is a prime example of what could potentially happen if you don't listen to your body. This is a prime example of what can happen if you choose with your own willpower, to take unnecessary risk for worldly gain, for the attention of others. Period. And if there's anybody that want to debate that, please hit me up. We can do it today. I would really like that. If there's anybody out there that disagree with that, I would love to hear your thoughts, especially if you're an influencer too. Especially if you fall into this category. I would love to talk to you. That would make my day, actually. So anyway, guys, with all due respect, rest in peace to Jo Lindner. And also, guys, if possible, stick to the natural path. Stick to the natural path. And if there's ever a time in your future where you might need to hop on some kind of pharmaceuticals to enhance your quality of life, you might need to put unnatural things in your bloodstream. If you have to do that, try to take the least as possible. The bare minimum doses you need to take. If it's only required for you to take X amount to keep your balance, stay there and do not go above that. Try not to get that. Addiction works all across the board. People think addiction just comes from alcohol or hard drugs. No, addiction comes in several forms. You can be addicted to pussy. There's sex addicts, believe it or not. There's people addicted to their ego being stroked. There's people addicted to getting as big as they possibly can. There's people addicted to attention. There's several forms of addiction. And if you don't have that shit controlled and tamed, it can consume you. Just like you can go from being a customer to being consumed. Notice people are consumed by porn. They went from being a customer, now they're consumed by it. They gotta jerk off 3 times a day, minimum. Plus, they can't go through a day without seeing some pornos. They went from being a customer to consumed. They got sex in their mind all day. Going from being the customer to the consumed. Why? Because energy works both ways. And not only does it work both ways, it works inside out. Do not allow yourself to be turned inside out by your own demons and insecurities. Trust me, guys. I've been there many times. I'm not saying this. I'm not pulling a rabbit out of my hat. I'm not pulling bullshit out of my ass. This is coming from experience. This is coming from observation, and most of all, it's coming from love. Okay? Don't forget to like my shit. Comment, subscribe, and buy 30 of them bitches and holler back at your boy. Peace.
We need a moment of silence before we fuck up these weights.